Secrets hidden in plain sight. Powers that move the world in the shadows. Questions no one dares to answer. Step beyond the Matrix. Subscribe.
I'm talking about AI, artificial intelligence. The missing link between computers and human thought.
What? You mean machines that think?
Yes, and with a will of their own, they could process raw data a million times faster than we, yet still be able to make the leaps of intuition that inspired our greatest minds.
Sounds as if the human race could become quite expendable. Except for butlers, of course.
Of course.
You too, Batman? You knew about this and didn't tell us? You put it in the cartoon so we could figure it out years later? Batman's been talking about AI when we were still kids. I knew it. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Batman doesn't know what he's talking about because he's a cartoon character, bro. Shut up! It's not a game. He told us about AI since way back. The Matrix told us about AI since way back. Other places, people, and things told us about AI since way back. And nobody listened. You know what they thought? They thought they were just saying 2 letters out the alphabet. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game. All right, guys, you know what it is. Shut up. But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever see somebody say that AI was invented recently, prove it to me.
Okay, this video is going viral right now when 2 ladies in Australia went into this grocery store. It's playing in reverse right now, and it's completely empty. They went to get like chips or something, and the shelves are completely barren. Now, we mentioned yesterday, it seems like Australia is the first domino to fall in this shocking situation, but it's a glimpse of what we could see happening in other countries in the very near future. Remember, there's a lag from when in 2020 the lockdown was announced. It was like a month later that the economy was really just boom because of this whole shitstorm. So as we can see here, mainstream news is now talking about how a prolonged diesel shortage could halt the economy, empty supermarket shelves, and spike food prices by up to 50% due to higher transport and production costs. Now, mind you, don't think too hard about the fact that Australia in the 1970s produced 70% or so of its own fuel. Don't think about how in Canada, Alberta produces so much oil, so much natural gas, so much stuff, it's shocking, but we send it over to Saudi Arabia and then we buy oil from them, which makes a lot of sense. And don't even get me started what's going on with Texas, with their biggest or one of their largest oil refineries that's on fire yesterday. And Texas can produce so much oil, why is that not powering the United States? Instead, it's coming from who knows where? And also, does oil really run out? I'm just saying, like, does it come from fossils and ancient dinosaurs and phytoplankton? I'm just saying, there's other things going on here that is absolutely shocking. Now, come 2030, will we be in electric cars with lab-grown food because the food supply collapsed and the energy or the automotive industry and the way fuel works changes? Because that would be just, you know, such a coincidence that some organizations have been planning something like that, and then this shocking situation unfolds, which leads to all those goals being met. You see what I'm saying? Now, I will say there is definitely something nefarious going on here. More than I can mention on this video, though. If you want to tune into a deep dive on an uncensored platform, I go live on Rumble almost every single night. So comment the word Rumble below and check your DMs. You'll get a link to my live stream channel. And once you get the link, make an account, follow me there, and turn on live notifications so you know when I'm live.
Police are searching for a retired Air Force general who vanished in New Mexico. William McCaslin went missing last month. Members of Congress are warning this could be a national security issue. The general was involved with the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace research. He oversaw a classified space weapons program. McCaslin was in charge of the Air Force Research Lab at a base in Ohio. It's rumored that base holds extraterrestrial debris from the Roswell crash site. The general was tied in with the UFO community. A source told the New York Post the general was a gatekeeper for anything UFO related in the Air Force. He retired due to mental fog, but investigators say he's still highly intelligent and capable. McCaslin was an avid hiker. His wife last saw him leaving with a backpack and a .38 revolver. No phone, no glasses. He disappeared 6 days right after Trump announced he was releasing the UFO files. And he's not the only one. 8 months before the general vanished, a rocket scientist who worked under him years ago also went missing. She was hiking in California with 2 other people. They saw her smiling and waving 30 feet behind them. When they turned back again, she was gone, vanished in plain sight. They searched for days and couldn't find any trace of her. This is a very, very strange situation. And 11 days before the general disappeared, another scientist was shot dead on his porch. Carl Grillmar was known for discovering signs of water on a distant planet, and he was gunned down in California. Freddie Snyder was later charged with his murder. He has a rap sheet, but was let out of jail by a Newsom-appointed judge weeks before he allegedly killed the scientist. We still don't know his motive. And we don't know if these cases are even connected. But this many top scientists getting killed or going missing in just under a year looks like a major red flag.
Oh, you know what? Maybe YouTube deleted me because they took Israel's money. Yeah, they took $50 million to allow them to talk about Gaza and say, yeah, there's still food in Gaza. So they're taking money to lie. And they're saying that it didn't violate any content guidelines there, huh? Oh, I make such dangerous content. It cannot be on the internet. It is a violation. Fuck you, YouTube.
So airports are still being weird, and we have ish like this happening, bro. Y'all, why does this look like a space pod? Like something is happening with our skies, because why does that look like it came out of the heavens hard? Why does it look like the first time Vegeta entered the atmosphere to fight Goku, bro? Why is our life a movie? Why is our life a real life anime? So what comes next after this?
What the hell? That's like a space. Bro, that's like a space thing.
And then look at these, bro. This lady was driving on the side of the road in Texas and came across this train with these things on top of it. Now, I don't want to make an assumption, bro, but are these the same thing that was on the top of the truck? Are these the same? Look at these. What are these? Whoa. Bro, this shit looks like Starlink on the ground. Isn't that what Starlink looks like, bro? That's crazy.
This weird train. Some kind of aliens. It says Vestas on it. Oh my gosh.
She talking about it says Vestas or Vespas or something like that. I have no idea. But y'all, it seems to be a lot of activity still going on in the sky because planes are still being grounded.
I'm just reporting live from the New Orleans airport. If you are planning on flying out today, you are not flying out today. This is just a sneak peek. There's no end. There's no end. We are not coming home today, tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think we have to road trip, and I'm not over-exaggerating that.
They made the movie Don't Look Up because they don't want us to see what's going on in the skies. But when you greet somebody, you say, what's up? Because that's your natural response to look up to see what's going on in the skies. And right now, y'all, we can all concur there's some weird activities happening in the skies. I know it's all part of the shift that we on. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace.
PSA, if you are flying into New Orleans or out of New Orleans, no, you're not.
We are under attack. What if I told you that somebody knew that finery was going to explode before it even happened? Not just that, he also decided to post it on Twitter. Oh yeah, and there's a lot more, but we'll get into it. It reminds me of the Charlie Kirk scenario, right? Because somehow people knew beforehand, and so much as to even post on Twitter that it was going to happen, just like the refinery. So with this refinery, we already have people saying, oh, it was a normal explosion and, you know, it's already covered, everything's fine. If that were true, then how did this man right here know and literally post about it like an hour before it happened? Oh, and by the way, completely unrelated, obviously, right? They changed the enlistment age from 34 to 42. And they're also waiving a whole bunch of stuff from 2019, 2020 to get people back in the military. I wonder why that could be. And every time the president says it's good or we won or we got it worked out, they start sending bombs right when he says it. So back to the refinery thing. I think it's odd. I've seen like 5 to 10 factory explosions in the United States over the last 2 weeks alone. What's been going on the last 2 weeks? What do you think? Who the crap is this? Something's up, and I'm not talking about all those meteors you're seeing either. What do you think?
What if I told you guys that these 3 people, a missing general, a missing rocket scientist, and an astrophysicist that is now deceased, are all connected? Let's get into it. First, let's start with General McCaslin, who was in charge of the UFO research lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, who is still missing after he went hiking. Now, it's important to note that he left behind his phone and his Apple Watch, which almost seems like he doesn't want to be tracked and or found. He was in charge of the UFO research team at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but this wasn't the only Air Force base he had connection to. He was also the lead commander at Kirkland Air Force Base. Now, does anybody want to take a wild guess who else worked there at the same time? Monica Reza, who is a rocket scientist, but also owns the patent to the super alloy metal, Mondaloy, which changed the game for rockets going into space. Who was, just like McCaslin, also hiking, but now also missing since last year. Are we starting to see a pattern yet? Well, if it didn't, maybe this will seal the deal, because this is Carl Grillmeyer, an astrophysicist, an expert in deep space and exoplanets, and is also now dead. Reports say he was shot and killed on his front porch by a random carjacker who was going through the neighborhood looking for cars, but here's the thing. He lives in the middle of nowhere, so either this carjacker really wanted his car or something else was afoot. Now, Grillmeyer was a lead researcher at IPEC, which is an analysis center founded at Caltech. Now, just 5 minutes down the road, the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is also managed by Caltech. Now, remember that rocket scientist Monica Reza I just told you about? She was the director at JPL at the same time that Carl worked at IPEC. Yeah, this is part of the movie where we should all be suspicious. Also, it's important to note that JPL and IPAC work hand in hand when it comes to cross research, meetings, the whole nine. I find this all very interesting timing, being that all these people have extensive knowledge when it comes to exoplanets, space travel, UFOs, and then the government did this. They just booked the domain aliens.gov, so I'm assuming they're gonna do a UFO file dump, giving us disclosure, but the question is, what did all these people know about this? So I had to dig deeper into this, so I got one of the top remote viewers in the world, Elizabeth April, and you guys won't believe what she found. So that's on my YouTube. Make sure you check that out and let me know what you guys think below.
Okay, this video is going viral right now of Cuba, when we know they're having rolling blackouts, or a total blackout rather. The only place that's lit up over here is a 5-star hotel. You'll see in a second, but they have like zero electricity. I don't know how that's going to work for the pumps. Like, where's the sewage go? Do they have what kind of sanitation system action do they have there? But I can't imagine this is very fun. Now, is this sort of thing going to be happening here pretty soon because of the energy crisis, which I'm not saying is completely engineered, but like, wouldn't there be a pretty good way to be able to get enough oil from Texas and Alberta and Venezuela to completely power like North and South America? Instead of pumping oil out of the ground in Texas and Alberta, shipping it to Saudi Arabia, and then buying more oil from them to ship back to us. Like, this was not managed. It was either managed improperly, like incompetently improperly, or it's malevolent. You decide which one you think it is. Because all I know is, with all this looming energy crisis upon us, we're getting closer and closer to the 55 different things they wanted to be done by 2030. Problem, reaction, solution. Now, there's a lot more to be discussed on this subject that cannot fully be mentioned here. If you want to tune in for a deep dive on an uncensored platform, we go live almost every single night on Rumble, which is free to watch, free to download, and free speech. If you want to tune in, comment the word Rumble below and check your DMs.
The books that he wrote, we're talking about The Last President. We're talking about Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Adventures, or Marvelous Underground Journey.
Wait, Baron Trump is alive?
That's his son.
Can't we just ask this motherfucker?
I mean, Trump is alive. I mean, he had a mentor in the book named Don. Back to the Future is all connected to this too. I hope everybody knows that.
Connected to what?
To everything that we're talking about. So Elon has what transportation company?
Tesla.
So we were just talking about who? Tesla. Then
Right.
Tesla is linked to Donald Trump's uncle and Trump, and now we're talking about Donald Trump with Elon, and they're cool, and so you have all these things, right? Now, who do we just say predicted Elon taking people to Mars?
The dude you mentioned.
Wernher von Braun, right? So Wernher von Braun, he came over from Nazi Germany. He was a Nazi scientist in Operation Paperclip. You know, after they lost the war, brought everybody over to America. So in the movie Back to the Future, everybody knows who? Doc Brown. Yep. He is a scientist. He explains to Marty, he's saying that they're going through historical findings. He's saying like, hey, when was your family brought to Hill Valley? He was like, well, we weren't brought over until this date, and we weren't called the Browns.
roots, we were called the Von Brauns.
Come on.
So you mean to tell me a scientist in the movie was originally called Von Brauns, and he's saying we were brought over to America and we were named Von Brauns, then we changed our name to Brown?
Dude.
What was the reason for them putting that in the movie?
I think it's all connected.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, what was the excuse?
The excuse, to be honest, I think that when it comes to what they really know as far as time travel, because the movie has everything to do with time travel, right? So I think Warner Von Braun knows a lot more than what he put on, because he talks about the firmament. It's on his tombstone. He talks about God's handiwork in the firmament. He talks about Elon going to Mars. That's some time travel shit. How did you know somebody's gonna take humanity to Mars and his name is Elon, and we have Elon with SpaceX and all this other shit? How do you know that?
Okay, 3 breaking, shocking pieces of news that are coming out this morning. Vietnam announces the suspension of some domestic routes due to jet fuel shortages and rising fuel prices. At the same time, the president of the Philippines declares a national energy emergency. And at the same time, the New South Wales Premier calls for COVID-style protocols as the fuel crisis explodes. A key state premier warns states can't act alone as hundreds of servos, I think that's gas stations, run dry and fears grow over what comes next for Aussie drivers. So is this what the World Economic Forum meant when they said something to the effect of 2020 was a experiment or a rehearsal? And is this going to result in, look, you get everyone hooked on oil, then you cut the supply of oil, and then you can mandate and dictate what happens next, how people move around, what they can and can't do, work from home, save fuel. And I already know like a certain percentage of people will be like, this is great, like we'll cut back on carbon emissions. Well, just wait, because they have a whole plan of a new currency based on carbon to where you're allotted a certain monthly amount. You can't save it up. It's new money, it's carbon credits, and everyone gets them once enough people are out of work from AI and all the other stuff that's going on that's getting people out of jobs. And everyone will be begging for a new financial system, and they will present it to us in the form of universal basic income. Some people will think that's good. Oh, we get free money and we can just let AI do the hard jobs and we can live better. I wish that were the case. But let me know your thoughts of what you think's coming around the corner in the comments below, and follow for more. Now, I can't say I have all the answers, but I do think it's a good idea to stock up on essential supplies, food, fuel, etc. I mean, if you're in Australia right now, you probably wish you had like a couple months worth of gas, right? And apparently it's coming here next. We can see the signs on the, it's on the wall. Now, in the meantime, I do think it's of utmost importance to be of sound mind and sound body with all the crazy stuff that's going on today and the chemicals in the food and water supply. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
Class is in session, and when I say you can learn from everything, I mean just that. You can literally learn something from a baby. And I want to cut to an interesting clip of babies being tested on fear and whether or not fear is something that you are born with or is something that is programmed, taught, and used to manipulate you. Just 1 second while we do that.
Is this okay? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. They don't seem that concerned at all, which is concerning me.
Now I want you to think back to when you were a child and think about how infinite your imagination was. Think about how you were able to do some of the things that today you would never even try and attempt to do based on the belief in the imagination that gave you the invincible feeling that you were capable of any and everything. And think about when fear was introduced. Because once again, it's not something that you're born with. It's a frequency. It's an energy. And just like with incantations and spells and things of that nature, once you are aware of it, can it now have access and dominion over you? So now that we are aware of fear and we're aware of danger, do we now perceive things differently? And seeing as the simulation collapses based on your perception of you, because you are the observer based on the observer effect, it is very telling as to why they have the propaganda programming you the way that they freaking do. Down to your horror films that teach you to be afraid of the dark, down to your action films that put you in crazy real life predicaments, such as zombie apocalypse, things of that nature, reality that they want you to curate. Once you realize and are aware of the possibility of the danger, do you become susceptible to the fear? I'm telling you, once you start going down these rabbit holes, you realize that they're never-ending abyss. There's no bottom. It never stops. And the more you fall, you realize the whole time you are flying. The more you know. And if I know this information, you're gonna know it too. So just prepare to have your reality work. Bye.
You ever wonder why cigarettes, alcohol, and tobacco are illegal, but cannabis, shrooms, and DMT is a crime? You could actually get sent to prison for it? Check this out.
It's hypocritical to live in a society that glorifies alcohol on the one hand and that demonizes psychedelics on the other. This is nuts.
Why do you think that is, though?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that psychedelics lead people to ask questions about the big reality. It's as simple as that. And I think those in power knew that long ago. And they knew that psychedelics represented a danger to the established order of things, not to the individuals taking the psychedelics, but to the established order of things, that people couldn't be so easily brainwashed, that they'd start to think for themselves, make decisions for themselves, would start to question government behavior and the behavior of big corporations and the behavior of the big religions too. All of these would be questioned from people who'd had deep experiences with psychedelics. So the decision was made, let's wage a propaganda war against psychedelics. Let's make people believe that these are really deadly, harmful things, when in fact they're not.
This is really what we need to be doing, people. Awakening with cannabis and shrooms. It allows you to question things. Like he said, you could actually question things and question everything, because like this whole reality is fucked up. This is what life should look like. Everybody getting together, listening to music, dancing, taking shrooms, smoking, taking LSD, all of these psychedelics that awaken our minds. You can actually watch this, How to Change Your Mind, on Netflix, in the episode of Mushrooms, and all these other psychedelics show you how good they actually are. But it's so weird how alcohol and tobacco and cigarettes that are literally proven to be poisonous are legal, but psychedelics are not, and they have way more benefits for our mind and our souls and just reality in general. We are in a war, but you have to see it. Wake up, people.
So y'all probably don't know that one of the biggest oil refineries in the country in Texas just caught on fire. Y'all probably don't know that, right? Like, what a coincidence for everything like this to be happening. Just like y'all probably don't know that Nebraska is battling one of its biggest wildfires in history, bro. About 1 million acres are burning in Nebraska. Did y'all know about this? About 1 million acres, and now meteors are falling out of the sky and everything seems to be catching on fire. Now people are starting to ask, what was the cause of the Port Arthur refinery blowing up? Because moments before it happened, people heard a loud boom and everything was shaking.
Breaking news out of Port Arthur, Texas, where a massive explosion has rocked the Valero refinery. Intense flames and thick black smoke are visible for miles after the blast.
Look at the debris all over the floor at the refinery. Look at this. Look at this trash can. And not only that, but did you hear about the historic Roman courthouse in Georgia catching on fire? They don't know what caused it, but it's literally melting from the top down. Look at all that dark. What is that? What is going on? And this firework building in Texas also caught on fire. Look at this. What is going on with everything catching on fire? And then I'm hearing that electric cars are catching on fire too, bro, everywhere. And the crazy thing is, it's not even summer yet, man. The ship is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Y'all see it, man. They feel it. Let's continue with this. Peace out.
Into a fire for 30 plus minutes from house electric malfunction. But wait for it. Oh my god, it still is working. I don't know, something exploded. On the side of the house. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It's my cousin's device. It's like me and all our neighbors are here trying to put the fire out. Put the fire to our house.
Boy, somebody set the barn on fire at my children's uncle's house, right here on the farm. They've been waiting on the daggone fire department for the last 15, 20 minutes, and they still ain't got here. The house, I don't know, if that wind shifts, it's gonna catch this house. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's my children's uncle's house. This is our farm. Get the backyard, right? Is my son's place over there okay? Is it going that way to my son's house? Let me get him up. God, I gotta get him up. I gotta pause this for a second.
So they really want us to believe that 3 different meteors appeared in 3 different places within the last 6 or 7 days, and there's not nothing wrong with that? You had the meteor in Ohio, 17,000 pounds, moving at 45,000 miles an hour. You had the meteor in Houston, 1 ton, moving at 35,000 miles an hour. And then you have a meteor in California. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. This is California. I need you to look at that right there. Bright green. There's a woman in California that said she heard a rumble in the sky so loud that she had to go outside her house. And when she went outside her house, this woman said she seen a green light in the sky so bright, as brighter than she ever seen in her whole entire life. And that was that meteor. So you have NASA confirming that these meteors are meteors. You had 3 oversized meteors that just fell into Earth, and NASA didn't know anything about it. But here's the thing. You have people saying that these meteors might be fallen angels. And these fallen angels might be coming to Earth because of what's happening on Earth right now. I'm going to ask you, what do you think? It's going to be people that say, this is normal. This happens all the time. This ain't normal at all. This is not normal at all. Yeah, okay. I'm out.
Who's the richest family on the planet, worth $700 trillion combined income, net worth? The Rothschilds. It's still happening till this very, very day. And this masonry is part of the mysteries, the mystery schools. Only adept initiates, hand-picked people would get to learn this sacred knowledge. And then Masons would actually encode it into structures and buildings, which is encoded all throughout the world, throughout Rome at the Vatican, all throughout Europe, all throughout Bosnia, believe it or not, where you have the Pyramid of the Sun there in the Bosnian Valley.
How would they pick who gets the knowledge?
They literally had a system in which they can identify people who they called adept initiates. People who seem to have some type of ability to perceive things at a higher level, or retain knowledge at a higher level, or display some type of talent, or ability. And those people were literally handpicked. Yeshua, aka Jesus, was one of these students as well. If you read the Gospel of the Holy 12, you'll find that when he disappeared from the Bible, where did he go? He went to Egypt. I've taken many people to the actual bed that he slept in, which is still there in Egypt. It's a shrine now. And he was there learning the Egyptian mysteries.
It's a real thin line between being a chosen person and a parasite. What do that mean? I hear so many people say, I'm chosen, everything should be free. It's nothing free in the universe. Nothing. You can't be rich in the spiritual world and poor in the physical world. If you are a chosen one, you are supposed to be rich in the physical world and rich in the spiritual world. You cannot get spiritual knowledge and just give up on the physical world. The physical world comes from the spiritual world. If you just focus on spirituality and forget about the physical world, you are off balance. I think people forgot what abundance really means. Apples, nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables is just like money. But the New Age movement made spiritual people believe that money is the root of all evil. No. What you do to get the money is the root of all evil, not money itself. Nothing is free in the universe. Everything is about freedom. And last time I checked, money and knowledge will make you free. Not just knowledge by itself and not money by itself. You need both. Both represents balance. But some chosen people become parasites because they believe everything should be given to them. The fuck is you, a baby? You don't know no better? Why would you want someone to give you something for free? Nature don't even work like that. If you ever wanted to do some kind of ritual, it was called the barter system, fair trade. If you needed help from the river, you would get some apples, take it to the river, and leave it there. If you need help from your ancestors, we do libations. We give fruits and vegetables and leave it to our ancestors. You always have to give to get something back. But when it comes to these new chosen people, no. They say, I'm a star seed. I'm a chosen. I shouldn't have to pay for nothing. Everything should be given to me. Once again, the fuck is you, a baby?
If you respect someone's energy, you will give your energy to them and they will give it back. Give, receive. There is no one way in this reality. But once again, some spiritual people believe money is the root of evil. And while we believe this shit, the people that control this world, they are billionaires. Spiritual people problem is we don't think money is important. But we know we need money to pay rent, to pay bills, to pay a cell phone bill, money to eat, money for clean water. Just look at money as being energy. If you are a spiritual person, that means you have a lot of energy. I don't know what's going on with this new age spirituality, but these chosen people, you had a wrong definition of a chosen person. If you are chosen, that means you are unstoppable in the physical world and the spiritual world.
Do y'all remember when Kanye West was trying to warn people of certain things in the industry? Well, this right here is his daughter. His daughter that, by the way, he's not allowed to even go near. And of course you saw the compass right here beside me. Later you'll see a cross where this compass was, so you really understand what they mean right there. So you really understand what they mean by this cross. Because all these celebrities wear these crosses, but it's not really for the reason you think. It's crazy when you think about it, because he did say that something was going to happen to him, and that the one that we see now wouldn't be the actual original one. Not like he was the first person that's ever supposedly happened to. And now they're using his daughter to continue polluting the youth because him and other people decided to stop. When you make a deal with the devil, you will lose, even if you change your mind afterwards. By the way, wasn't he like one of the only rappers that wasn't really involved with the island guy in those files? I think that's kind of weird.